Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office. I've just been back from Play Manchester where I bought these two game consoles. It's a Nintendo DSi XL, which is kind of cool. I never have one of these. I have a 3DS XL and I definitely don't have a DSi in my collection. And this, which is a 3DS. But look at this gorgeous thing. It's a Legend of Zelda edition. Absolutely stonking. I'm really pleased about this. So very pleased about getting these. The only problem is when I try to charge this thing and power it up, I get no power and the power light flashes, and in my experience that means there's a sort of fuse gone, and I'm kind of a little bit annoyed. You know, I did pay £25 for this, but not to worry, I'm probably not going to bother the vendor and send it back and stuff. I think it's still actually a pretty fair price, and they probably didn't know it had this little issue. So I'm going to see how to get into it. I've never worked on one of these, so I'm hoping not to mash it up because it's in quite good nick. I am missing a stylus. So I don't know if these came with a burgundy stylus or if they just came with a standard sort of grey blacky stylus. I'll have to look into that when trying to get one. So let's see, we've definitely got two screw holes up here, so we're going to go for those first. Those screws out. I do hope it's not totally dead. Oh, there's a screw hole right there inside the actual slot too. So that's your third. Tiny little stub. Just going to put a bit of gentle pressure on it. I suspect there's screws under these feet, so we're going to have to go in deep on that. So the expo was really cool. There were quite a lot of interesting people around, and interesting talks actually. We went to a number of interesting talks, and among them was the creator of Jet Set Willy. Now, who out there in back office show land, internet land, is aware of Jet Set Willy? It's a game probably from, I guess, must have been the early 80s, and rather famous, I think, on the ZX Spectrum. I think that was the initial port, really, was the ZX Spectrum it was most famous for. But have a go at it, because by modern standards, some of these games are absolutely brutal, and I mean brutal with a capital B. It's just so difficult for me nowadays to really get into them, just purely because you just sort of lose life after life after life. It's those sort of games where they start with 7 lives. And if you want the sort of more gentle introduction, try Manic Miner. That was the prequel. And I advise Manic Miner on the Game Boy Advance, of all things. If you've got Game Boy Advance, have a go at Manic Miner on that. It's a little bit more forgiving, but what's nice about it is that it's the graphics and controls are just so. Right, going to be careful. As I say, I never opened one of these before. I don't really want to break it. I want to see what comes with what. So your L and your R buttons seem to be coming with the chassis. And then the front screen looks like it might be clipped. So yeah, look, the old buttons here clicking still. So there's 2 boards for sure. Probably one which has the SD card, things like that. And the other, yep, connected via a bit of ribbon to this lower thing here. So I'm going to run my nail here along the edge, just feeling out to see if there's any. Yep, you can hear it cracking, crack. Ah. Right, so there's some motherboard clips here, and I'm just going to point them off. Point 1, point 2, and that's that. Good. Pretty clean inside, actually, surprising for this. But I think the XLs were bought more by adults, really. I don't think they were really given to kids. You just tend to give kids the standard little ones. And there you go. The cartridge slot is by Molex, of all things. Didn't know that. And it's hard to tell if anybody has been sniffing around in here, but it's looking pretty good. No obvious signs of manipulation. No, I don't think anybody's been in here. There's This little dude here, keeping that connector down. So looking at it, you've got a power board here. What else have you got? You've got some Nintendo ARM chip. That's probably the main CPU right there. It looks like that's probably some AND memory. There's a lot of bits and bobs on here. I don't know what that is. Samsung? Could be the ROM? Who knows? I'm just guessing at this point, but definitely the Wi-Fi type chips and gubbins. So this part on the right though is where we want to get under, because where the battery comes straight from there, we're going to just check with a meter, and by gum, by gum, I left my meter in the front office. So what we're going to do, just take another meter here. I'm going to take it down so you can see the screen. So if you, in case you're metering as well at home, you'll be able to play along. And we're going to play with some volts. So we're on DC volts right now. And what I want to do is measure on the connector side where it connects to the main motherboard from the battery. So first things first, actually, let's just check the battery. It's got the plus and the minus, and the battery is, ooh, we're on amps. DC. What kind of crazy mode is this bloody thing? Oh, yeah, I'm on the wrong mode. Derp. 3.8 volts, and that's good because these are 3.7 volt batteries. You get used to your favourite meters, don't you? And then you're all thrown. Don't you ever embarrass me like that again, Mr. Meter. And I'm being very gentle because these two tabs are really close to each other and I don't want to blow anything. And then you can see actually you've got 3.8 volts on the motherboard. So the voltage is getting to this area. Okay, that's freaky. Look, it's actually just come on. It's powered up. I didn't do anything and it still worked. And there's a picture of a white rat. Right, let's look at this a little bit closer to see what could we have done here. What could we have disturbed? So I don't know if there's any issue with this connector or wire or everything like that. So what I'm going to do is let's take this part up here. Because I want to show you, if you think it's a fuse, I think this is the board you're going to have to take up. So we're going to take that up anyway. That was weird, wasn't it? I'm really kind of surprised. So maybe all you need to do is just take it apart and put it back together. It's a really easy process. So what if someone dropped it and something went misaligned? I was pushing on here, of course, so maybe just that connector had become loose. So check that out, where the connector goes into your main board. Last screw here now. And we'll just flip that over. There we go. And this is the controller. Now I just want to show you exactly what to do though. If this is kaput, yeah, it doesn't get any power to this side of the board, which I have to admit I'm really surprised on my case that it did. Check out your right hand side controller area, and down here, right down here, you've got a power reset button, and just to the left of it there's a tiny little device which says F1. Do you see it right there? That's a fuse. Now I don't know the value of this fuse, I'm going to admit that, but if you want to do a sanity check, you could try getting a teeny tiny bit of fuse wire, take that component off, and then put a tiny piece of fuse wire across here and see if that works for you. And if it does, go out and try to find the correct value of fuse wire or fuse and replace that part. But again, sanity check on that, quick bit of fuse wire. If you power up though and some bad stuff happens, turn it off bloody quick, because if you've replaced that fuse with something anything higher the value than that, there is a chance you're going to blow something up, because the new fuse will not blow in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all back together though and see, and I'm giving everything a little push to make sure that everything works when it's all assembled. And really, assembly is just the reverse of disassembly. There's nothing going to be too tricky here, apart from maybe connecting those little high-rose type connectors. All assembled, the battery's in, power on. I'm not seeing anything. Something smells fishy. So let's see what else we could be here. So everything else is the same. We haven't, all we've not done really is put the final screws in. So I'm just going to check these connectors and give them a little bit of a rub with the edge of the scalpel. I just want to see if they just compress. I mean, there's not much compression on them, I'll admit, but it should be enough. And there's nothing on the power. I'm going to go and push it down with my hand. How odd. There I was, thinking I'd be all done, get to play my games, but no. There's something strange afoot here. So I'm going to now do the same thing, but with the battery connected by hand as best I can in here. That works. Huh. Just makes me wonder. Okay. I'm going to take these off again. Just don't want to damage these. If you damage those flexies, it's game over. And it may well be game over for your whole console, but be careful with that. Oh, it'd have been a good time to replace this as well with a new one. Just get this nice and fresh. You never know, these consoles are used by a lot of kiddies and they can bend those things. Anywho, I mean, these look pretty good. I can't tell from the profile of those if there's any issue, but what I would advise, if you've got one, get something fine. And we're just going to put it underneath the doofers here, the tangs. I'm just going to give them a very gentle. I mean, that one you can tell just by looking at it that it kind of is out probably 1/2 mil. But in experience, if you pull these out too far, you're running the danger of pulling them out of the actual socket. And that, my friends, would be very bad news. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a rub, a push and a tug. Push it down, lift it up, push it down. Just make sure that's seated. And we're going to try again for the final time, hopefully. So we're going to get the this left high rose is very tight. It's a short one. It's the SD card. Be careful. It's not as easy as you'd like, to be honest with you. You can see it's not long enough to put in with the case to the side, so you've got to do it from the top. And it really doesn't want to cooperate. Oh, my butterfingers, I tell you. So you can see how much I'm struggling with it. So take your time. Do not rush it. You do not want to write off your DSi XL. I don't really know what the I gives you. What does the I give you? Is the I in the DSi internet? Does it have some additional Wi-Fi services I've not been privy to? They look an awful lot, don't they? Like the 3DS XL. Gosh. Push those in. Finally. I was beginning to struggle there. I won't lie, I was beginning to struggle. Come on. Work for me. Work your magic. Right, that's the wrong way around. Luckily it only goes in one way, so you can't really get that wrong. Come on. Oh, no power. So strange. Woohoo! So I gave the battery contacts a bit of a scrape. Maybe that's all it needed, just a tiny bit of scrapage. Either way, we've had a look inside the 3DSi and we're happy now. It just seems to do something. What an odd menu. Never used this. Going to do a full system reset and work out where we are. And then maybe, oh gosh, brain training. Did I say brain training? We certainly don't want to play that. And look at the language. Even to dvor brain training wouldn't and breed a Nintendo. So there you go. Hope you understand that. Thanks for watching.